Hi, this video provides essential tips for how to use and unlock the potential of the effective and powerful Confidence and Connections curriculum. Intercambio is a nonprofit in Boulder, Colorado. Since 2001, we've trained 5,000 volunteer teachers to teach English to over 10,000 adult English learners from all over the world. My name's Lee Shanis, and I'm the director and co-founder. We're excited to unlock the potential of adult English classes to help people acquire English as quickly as possible while building cultural awareness and profound connections between people who would never otherwise meet. To do that, we want to remove barriers to access for students and teachers by taking proven theories and making them super simple and user-friendly. When classes feel safe and students talk about the things that are relevant to their lives, we see better retention and great results. First, let's look at barriers that this curriculum addresses. Time, transportation, and childcare are common barriers that can be out of our control. Others, like low self-esteem, fear of failure or being judged, frustration, and a feeling of not belonging, can be within our control. Confidence and Connections is built to address barriers within our control. Why and how does Confidence and Connections work? Our project manager, Marcy Smith, and our experienced team did lots of research and had many discussions about how to take proven adult English acquisition methodology and make it simple and practical for experienced or inexperienced teachers. It's not easy to consistently create lessons that have a logical flow, that cover listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, that culminate with relevant conversation, that discuss cultural differences in safe ways, and that foster lots of practice and review. No curriculum is perfect, and there are many great resources and endless creative ideas to supplement any curriculum. But having a foundation to work from and using a curriculum consistently allows students to become familiar with the structure and feel a sense of achievement. They can see progress. Giving certificates as they complete a book or level can provide encouragement for them to continue. In the curriculum, you'll see a consistent structure of present, practice, apply. First, we present new vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar in a way that's not overwhelming to students. Then we practice in structured ways, which often means there's just one answer. Then we move to less structured practice where there can be a variety of correct answers. Then we apply the learning to real life. The hallmark of the curriculum is the conversation at the end of every lesson. The conversations have students and teachers talk about themselves, their experiences, their perspectives, likes, dislikes, challenges, dreams, and more. Students get to know other students and their teacher. And when topics are interesting and relevant, students stretch to speak more and move beyond their fears. And when they speak more, they learn the language faster. Here's the key to building up to the meaningful conversations. The blue side has factors that lower the students' fears. The green side are the language skills. We need both. Someone may have a great command of the language but may lack confidence and is so afraid of being judged or making mistakes that they don't use their language skills. Or a person may be confident to take risks but doesn't have the words to express themselves effectively. Both sides are necessary. Here's another way to see this. Stronger connections between teacher and student and amongst students builds enjoyment and a sense of belonging, which accelerates language learning. Stronger connections are fueled by stronger language skills and cultural competence. It's a cycle that applies to students and teachers. Our teachers, who are open to learning and interested, clearly develop cultural competence. They also improve their language skills and their ability to communicate as they better understand challenges of learning English, they adapt to different accents, and they learn to communicate in ways that non-native speakers can better understand them. When our students can understand you, they gain confidence. Let's look at the components of the curriculum. We have student books, teacher books, listening tracks on our app, and helpful resources on our website for teachers, students, and administrators. There are 11 student books total, 1 intro book, and 2 books each for levels 1 through 5. There's 1L and 1R, 2L and 2R, and so on. L and R stand for left and right. They have nothing to do with left brain or right brain or anything like that. We just used L and R instead of A and B because there's no difference in level of difficulty. You can begin with either L or R, and it takes both the L and the R book to complete a full level. For example, if a student places into level 2, they can start with 2R, complete that, then complete 2L, and then move to either 3L or 3R. or they can start with 2L and then do 2R before moving to level 3. Each book has 16 days or lessons. This includes 13 6-page lessons, 2 lessons that have a review and progress check, and 1 suggested field trip. Each lesson is designed to take approximately 2 hours, but it can take longer or shorter depending on many factors. Many students can't commit to long semesters, so the curriculum has short completion cycles. Often, students are able to complete a book in just 8 to 10 weeks. This builds confidence. Every lesson has a listening dialogue that you can access for free on our app. Just download it to your phone or tablet. You need an internet connection to download it, but once it's downloaded, you don't need to be connected to access the tracks. If you need help, watch our 2-minute video on YouTube. Now let's see what present, practice, and apply look like in a lesson. The intro book has a different structure, so I suggest you watch our separate video on that if you're teaching with the intro book. All lessons begin with a listening warm-up. Listening sets context. Students need to understand before they speak. The dialogues present the words, phrases, and grammar structure that students will practice in the lesson. The first page also includes the vocabulary and a pronunciation activity. We spark confidence by addressing a big common student concern, which is how to say things in ways that they are understood. The pronunciation activity in every lesson focuses on the stress, rhythm, and challenging sounds of English. On page 2, students practice the vocab, they do the second listening exercise, and they see the grammar chart. Lessons typically have 2 listening activities using the same dialogue. Page 3 practices the grammar. You see that the first grammar activities typically have 1 possible answer and require the student to circle, match, or write 1 word. The grammar activities build up to having students write complete sentences. The first 3 pages of Level 1 are a little bit different. The first page is all dedicated to the listening activity. Vocab and pronunciation come on page 2, and grammar is presented and practiced on page 3. Pages 4 and 5 are real-life activities and critical thinking. You'll do simple reading and basic comprehension using things like invitations, text messages, job applications, calendars, and more. On page 4, there's a culture tip. Some are about life-changing information like understanding scams, taxes, laws, job interviews, or interacting with police. Others are about cultural differences like eye contact, direct communication, or marriage traditions. There are prompts for students to talk about how it is different or the same in their native country, so the learning goes both ways. Students become the teachers and the experts. The power balance is shifted and confidence grows. Page 5 is called the scaffold. It's a fancy teaching term that means it builds. We move from the activity on the top of the page to the middle of the page where the student does a very similar activity as the one on the top, but all the information will be the student's information. And the last activity is the conversation to get students and teachers to talk, listen, and learn about each other. The 6th and final page is homework, which includes structured activities and a journal exercise to write more about how the topic relates to their life. Our motto around homework is be firm but fun. Let students know why practicing at home and doing the homework is important for their learning, but keep your strictness loving and fun. Some conversations can be profound, and it can feel scary for students to share their stories and perspectives, so make them feel safe by creating positive learning environments. First, the physical space. If you teach a group, it's ideal for students to be able to see each other's faces, not each other's backs. And knowing each other's names helps, so use name tags or name cards. Another key is setting expectations and modeling cultural humility. Students must be expected to make mistakes and to take risks. They need to not feel judged. This is not about whose cultural norms are right or wrong or better or worse. It's about being interested in learning about different ways people see the world, and of course to have fun. It's important for the teacher to model what it looks like to show an interest in cultural differences and not to judge differences, and for teachers to courageously share about yourself too. Now let's look at the teacher books. Teaching can involve a lot of preparation. The new teacher books were designed to make teaching and preparation much easier. Let's start with the back of the teacher book. There's a section with important practical tips like how to start and end class, teaching listening, pronunciation, checking homework, making corrections, and much more. It's valuable training squeezed into just a few pages. Your teacher book has the student book embedded in it. To prepare for class, always review the lead page. Here you find goals of the lesson, real-life objects you need to bring to class, special notes about the lesson, warm-up ideas to start the class, and you have the dialogue for the audio track. Lessons start with a review of the previous lesson and homework. Frequent review ensures that they retain what they're learning. When we start the lesson, you'll see call-outs with helpful tips. Many can help you proactively address challenges instead of trying to address challenges in the moment, which often leads to more confusion. For the pronunciation activity, it occasionally refers to our supplementary publication, Pronunciation Fun, as a way to expand on the activity for more practice. Many of our students use the Pronunciation Fun videos on our website for safe practice also. You'll also see tips to work on pronunciation like stress and intonation in the vocabulary callouts. And at the bottom of pages in the teacher book are the answer keys. In some callouts, you'll see suggestions to do work individually or with a partner or in pairs. If you have one student, you are the partner. Nearly all activities in these books were designed to work with teachers teaching groups or individuals. For vocabulary, we encourage plenty of repetition. You'll typically see around 10 new vocab words per lesson. In the callouts, you'll often see suggestions to use gestures and actions to model and to get students up and moving. For grammar, in the earlier levels, you'll see tip boxes to teach students about things like contractions or informal speech they may hear when talking to native speakers. In the later levels, you'll see explanations and rules in some of the grammar charts. Sometimes rules can be helpful, and sometimes rules have too many exceptions and just create more confusion, so we don't always include rules. Sometimes students just need to learn by practicing. For some culture tips, you'll see a call out to use the Immigrant Guide, which is another supplemental publication of ours. Many of the culture tips come from this publication, and the Immigrant Guide can provide additional information on important topics and opportunities for extra reading practice for students. If you don't have enough time to get through a lesson, we recommend not skipping the culture tip or the connect with conversation activity, unless it's a topic that you need to avoid or just doesn't work for your students for some reason. For homework, we recommend leaving 5 minutes at the end of class to go through the first example of each activity with students, including the journal. Lessons 8 and 16 in every book are reviews and progress checks. The teacher books contain instructions and information you'll need to administer the speaking portion of the progress checks. These are key to determining whether a student is ready to move on to the next level. Finally, Lesson 9 is a suggested field trip, with different options to choose from with your students. The teacher book provides tips to prepare leading up to the field trip and how to debrief when it's complete. Field trips can be powerful experiences that create confidence by engaging students in their community in new ways with new people and new places. They're not mandatory, but highly encouraged. So remember, use the tools and callouts in these books, use resources on our website, and use any other helpful resources you find. The tips in the back of the teacher book are super valuable. The stuff on correcting mistakes, teaching grammar, starting class, everything. It's okay to not absorb everything you're learning the first time you see or read it, but revisit it frequently and try new things. Get students moving, talking, and repeating. It may seem boring to you, but repetition is key for our students. And remember to provide encouragement frequently and genuinely. And be patient. Progress is often slower than everyone wants it to be. Finally, have fun. If you're having fun, they're likely having fun too and enjoying the learning process, which means they keep coming back to learn. Thank you so much for bridging cultures, lifting lives, and being a part of a solution that creates lasting change. Don't hesitate to contact us if you ever need anything. Thanks.